He is the International Manager for AWA to talk about the international program and potentially opportunities to get involved. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Jesse. The Association recently held a survey of our members asking a range of questions which included the international program. The results suggested many of our members have an interest in getting involved, yet only a fraction of our members do actively participate. Those that do participate are very happy with their participation. So the purpose of this program, or this presentation, is essentially to provide a very brief overview of what we do in AWA's international program and outline some of the upcoming opportunities. So the overarching objective of our international program is to connect Australian water expertise and technological innovation with opportunities overseas. We do this through our partners, which are typically the peak water associations across the world, but with a focus on Southeast Asia or the Indo-Pacific. At this stage, we have around 16 MOU partners or peak water association partners, and we reach over 75,000 water professionals through those peak water associations. We do focus on our efforts on emerging economies in Southeast Asia, and particularly Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, where we have active programs. But our focus is largely on Southeast Asia, as we recognise our relationship with Asia particularly will largely govern Australia's future economic prosperity, and our relationship with our closest neighbours will be critical to that. Our international program straddles both aid and trade. On the aid side, we have our Water Utility Improvement Program, which connects Australian water utilities with water utilities across Southeast Asia, where there's a reciprocal exchange of staff both ways and the sharing of knowledge, usually focused on things such as asset management, non-revenue water, water quality, technology innovation, but the program is demand-led. The areas of priority are demand-led by the utilities in the countries we work in. AWA's role is to broker those relationships and work with our peak water association counterparts to enable the environment in which those utilities can effectively share knowledge and improve water services. We also deliver a range of drinking water technology demonstrations. In Vietnam, we've installed now 13 systems, and they're installed in areas where it's not economically viable or technically feasible to build a centralised pipe and treatment system, given the very low customer density that doesn't allow for the cost recovery for a pipe system. And the picture up there you see is of one we recently facilitated in a rural school of Dong Thap, Vietnam, which included a couple of different companies who are our members, a membrane company, Water ALS doing the independent verification, and also HAC and a couple other countries that provided water quality monitoring equipment. So in that context, we facilitate the technology installation, the technology companies provide the training and ongoing supply chain logistics, and then the water quality experts provide the risk management framework and the capacity development to support the operators. Now that system is particularly unique in that it provides water for the school, safe drinking water for the school that didn't otherwise have the water. It produces about 10,000 litres a day. The school needs about 1,000 litres. The other 9,000 litres is bought by a private company from the school, who they sell in 20-litre bottles of water at a very discounted price, and they share the revenue with the school. The school reinvests that into salary for the teachers and books for the students and other worthwhile causes. We also connect our government and regulatory expertise with the governments of the countries we work in to share policy and regulation experience, of which the Australian water reform journey is in high demand from the competition policy reforms during the 90s and more recently the nationally coordinated reforms under the National Water Initiative in managing supply security and climate resilience. We have a very active young water professional program domestically, and we're now ramping up our efforts to connect our domestic YWPs with opportunities across our priority countries in Asia, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. So on the trade front, we really try and create opportunities for our private sector companies, the small, the medium, the large, to venture into these markets and to build the connections and establish the platforms by which they can reduce the risk, the cost of venturing into a new market. That can present its challenges for particularly the small to medium enterprises. We deliver a range of services for our companies, including inbound delegations, where we take them to their sites and give them, or international delegates, we coordinate to Australia, to Ozwater. I'm sure many of you have seen international delegations roaming around Ozwater. But we also take them to sites of our members to give our members the opportunity to showcase their various innovations to the international delegations that have expressed interest. We coordinate a range of outbound delegations, and I'll come back to those, but we have a few on the horizon to Vietnam, Indonesia and Cambodia. We also do business matching through our Deep Water Association counterparts, so if there's any companies out there that are interested in markets, opportunities in Southeast Asia, come and have a chat with myself. So the opportunities we have for our members in the broader Australian water sector that are available right now, we are now calling for companies that can provide innovative decentralised drinking water solutions in Vietnam, Cambodia and Indonesia. As I mentioned before, our Vietnam program is focused on getting safe drinking water to rural and remote areas where they currently don't have pipe water. We have a new program that's just started in Cambodia and soon we'll release expressions of interest across our members for technology innovators to bid for those projects. All these are all government funded, DFAT funded. And also Indonesia, we have opportunities for providing drinking water solutions in schools in Indonesia. Our water utility improvement program, we've just completed a 3-year water utility improvement program between 5 Australian and 5 Vietnam utilities. The Australian utilities include Water Corporation, South East Water, Cairns Regional Council, Cambodian Water, Western Port Water and Wannell Water, and they are joining with 5 large Vietnam utilities. And if you go on our website, you can read a report on some of the outcomes from that, which were really impressive, not just from a technical standpoint, but from a human resource standpoint. And if I can draw on one example in that, Water Corp were able to share their internal HR policies around maternity leave, annual leave, sick leave, prior to Water Corp's sharing of those policies. Water, a water utility in Vietnam that they were twinning with, didn't have any such policy. So it was typically the case that those that were getting paid the less in that water utility simply didn't take sick leave or holiday leave or maternity leave. They just kept on working. So now they've mirror copied Water Corp's HR policies in that regard. So it's not just a sharing of technology knowledge, but sharing of governance and other areas that we see as critical in operating a high-performing water utility. We are calling for interested water utilities to get involved in future opportunities for our water utility improvement program and looking at opportunities in the Pacific, Laos and Myanmar. So come and have a chat with me if you're from TasWater and keen to get involved. In those programs, the twinning program between the utilities, we're also looking to pilot technology innovations that help achieve the objective of those water utility programs: non-revenue water, water quality, asset management, water metering, customer billing, human resource development, to name a few. So it's not just for the utilities. If you want to pilot or willing to get involved in sharing some of your knowledge or showcasing some of your technology, please reach out to us. We are looking to connect and strengthen our YWP program across the Indo-Pacific, and Robbie Godecki, I'm sure many of the YWPs in the room will know, is leading that, but we do have some immediate opportunities for YWPs to get involved in the outbound missions we're taking to Cambodia and via water. So come and have a chat with me if you're keen on that, or contact Robbie. But essentially we'd like to work with our Peak Water Association counterparts in those countries to draw upon the skills of our YWPs domestically to help them grow their own YWP network and build or strengthen the bridge between our YWP network and the YWP networks in Vietnam, Cambodia and Indonesia and other areas that we venture into. Our Channeling Change program is, I'm sure you're familiar about it, diversity, inclusion, equality. We embed the principles of our Channeling Change program in everything we do at AWA, and particularly our international program. The drinking water systems, for example, in rural areas are typically operated by women who collect the revenue, they get a salary, and they reinvest that margin that they make into other things that benefit women. But we also do workshops, and I'm glad Louise is in the room. She was a keynote speaker at our Women of Water workshop at Viet Water last year, I think it was, or the year before. So they're just some of the activities for our women in AWA's membership to get involved. Outbound programs. We are coordinating outbound programs to Viet Water 19, Cambodia Water and Indonesia Water, and obviously Oz Water is where we reciprocate our outbounds and coordinate international inbound delegations. But if I can just talk very quickly about Cambodia Water, 30th to the 1st of October. Come and have a chat with me if you're interested in coming. We are co-delivering this with the Cambodian Water Supply and Sewerage Association, 1,000 delegates from across the sector, and the Cambodian Ministry's objective and the CWA's objective for this particular conference is to share innovative ways and technologies to meet their target that all Cambodians have access to clean water by 2030. AWA will build an Australian pavilion for the companies interested in exhibiting. There'll be freestanding booths within the pavilion for you to showcase your bits and pieces. We'll run workshops, site tours, networking events, all delivered in partnership with DFAT, the Australian Government, and the Australian Ambassador in Cambodia will host a welcome reception. So what we try to do is create the environment by which those interested in either our aid or our trade activities feel comfortable and welcomed and see some opportunities for them. Viet Water is nothing new to the association. This will be our 5th Australian delegation to Viet Water, and over the past 4 years, well, last year we took around 100 individuals from across 35 or so different organisations, including the 5 utilities, a range of private sector companies, and we deliver a range of activities similar to Cambodia Water. For the last 5 years, or 4 years, we've won the best booth at show award, so I'd like to think we get quite a bit of attention and traffic for those that are interested in coming. But there are speaking roles. We will hold workshops, so come and have a chat with me about that. Indonesia Water and Wastewater Exhibition is our next event, which is just around the horizon. Many of you may have been in communication with Robbie Godecki on this one. That is 8th to 20th of September and delivered in partnership with our Peak Water Association partner in Indonesia, Pempamsi. Again, we'll be running a variety of activities, including the Australian Pavilion for the exhibitors, but also site tours and workshops for those that aren't so commercially geared. So look, that was a very brief oversight of what we do internationally. Certainly not comprehensive by any means, but just a taster so that those that may be interested in getting involved can approach myself, Robbie, Jonathan, any of our directors that you may have encountered this week, or anyone from AWA. Please reach out to us and get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.